Well, hello and Happy New Year. Welcome to TPI and 2025. I'm your host, Muyiwa Larry family. We stepped into a new year filled with hope and opportunity. As I reflect on the past year, it was truly a blessing for us as a show. We finally returned to our studio after 4 years due to the pandemic and welcomed an incredible lineup of guests. And we're looking to do even bigger things this year. Here's a look back at 2024 and a preview of what we have in store for 2025.
What do you do when you're struggling and you want to live right and you want, because you know the body is the temple of the Lord, and so we want to please him in that.
You have to be honest about putting up safeguards, and there's also the matter of, do you want to please your flesh or do you want to please God?
I really want to shine a light on our singleness journey and really help people to see the beauty in it.
So I think in every season we're waiting for the next thing, but just enjoy where we are now.
Yeah.
Friendship is the basic of the relationship. Everybody comes to my office asking about conflict resolution and all that, but it's really the friendship. We got to get back to the courtship and the friendship. And if we get back to that, the foundation of the relationship, then a lot of these other issues don't happen as often. You just have to be a couple who doesn't want to damage each other. That's a choice. That's a choice. The quicker you repair, the better you can move forward.
We have the responsibility, if you're a Christian, we have the responsibility to reflect the image of God in the world.
Hey guys, this is Simi, as you can see behind us. This is our set, and we are so excited because we are back on set after 4 years being away. We know Muyiwa has been in London, but this is home, Virginia Beach. So we want to take you behind the scenes to see what's really going on. So come on.
Let me tell you something. Studio 6, London is nothing like Studio 6. You're absolutely brilliant. Even though I have this daughter of Eve hitting my head all the time.
Tony is directing for us. So Tony, what's it like directing for TPI?
It's pretty awesome. Fun team. Everybody that works for TPI, just great attitudes and just everybody working together to get the job done. So I know everybody is excited to be back in studio. So yeah.
From everything I know about you, it's not music first. There's something else that's the foundation. What would you say to that young man, that young woman who has a dream to be where you are now, as to what they should be doing, what they should focus on?
You can't just jump into it. I said it's marathon, it's not a sprint. I was saying to you yesterday that if it's a sprint, then you come up quickly and do well quickly and then
finish quickly.
So, but for me, it is just your passion and love for God. How much I actually prefer to stay in a space where I can spend time with God. I mean, I don't go to God as a provider. I know He is a healer, but I don't go to Him as a healer. I just want Him to be my Father. I want to spend time with Him as between a child and a father. And in those moments, everything happens.
Purpose is not the thing you do. It's the thing that happens in others when you do what you do.
And sometimes there are pullback seasons. They're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They're embarrassing. Pullback seasons look like loss.
Yeah.
Pullback seasons look like being misunderstood. Pullback seasons will leave you with questions of where are you, God? But He's honestly just pulling you back to launch you further and faster.
We need to pay attention to Jesus. He was fully divine, but also fully human. And every single time Jesus had an emotional breakdown, He had a breakthrough. Something powerful happened spiritually. And that is the same for us. A lot of us are missing our spiritual breakthrough because we won't allow our emotions to flow out.
I do believe the church is the answer for a change in this world. God wants to use His people to provide change in this world. But the people in the church have to be able to be honest about what is happening in the world.
While we're committed to our faith, we can be influenced by secular society. Ideologies can be influential in the way we think. And if we don't pause a moment to revisit the foundations of the faith, we can get carried away.
Each one of us, we have greatness inside of us, and it's just a matter of recognizing it, watering it, believing in it, investing in it consistently, and then trusting that God will open up doors.
There's nothing else for me but him and who he is.
What is the common denominator between sexual immorality and idolatry? The worship of self. And right now, the church needs to get out of itself.
Once I came into the knowledge that, yeah, you have a voice and you need to use it to glorify God first.
His ideas always sound so far-fetched, and that's when we know it's God, because if it's something that we have the capacity to accomplish alone, that's flesh. But the stuff that's impossible, he delights in making the impossible possible.
We're thankful for all God did last year and so excited about what he will do this year. On a personal level, my prayer for 2025 is that my two sons will have a deeper relationship with the Holy Spirit. Now, how about you? What are you believing God for this year? Go to our Facebook or Instagram page and let us know using the hashtag God2025. And let's commit to praying for one another as we stand in faith. Now stay with us, because after the break, social media's favorite couple, Ling and Lam, they're here, and you'll get a peek into their lives, and I think you'll discover what makes them such a beloved duo. Now, hold on. So you're out and he says, can I have a
hamburger?
And then you have to interpret.
Hamburger, yes.
It's burger.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's like, I can't be going, can I have a hamburger?
Exactly.
It doesn't even sound right.
It's not right.
It's burger. Can I have a hamburger?
Yeah, I want a burger.
Call us at 0300 140 0067 or visit cbneurope.com/TPI.
God is never late, can never be late, never, 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 can never be late. God is not done with me, no, God is not done with me. He's just getting started, and I'm right here for it.
Welcome back. You've probably seen my next guests all over social media. Their fun antics and adventures have captured the attention of people all around the world. I'm so thrilled to kick off the new year with them. Please welcome the dynamic duo known as Ling and Lam. Guys, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a joy to have you in the studio, and our time is going to fly by, so I'm going to try and get as much out as possible.
Yeah.
So here we are. Mr. and Mrs. Lowenson, and I have to do my Nigerian thing and call you by your government name, Mr. and Mrs. Lowenson.
Yeah.
To my mind, and correct me if I'm wrong, this journey started with you in your journey as an artist who was conscious, who was thinking about releasing people from prison.
Yeah.
You come to America to record a video.
Yeah.
Her mother is working on the video. And then you lost focus for a second, and then you followed the girl.
So I did lose focus. Who will see a beautiful girl like this and not misbehave? So I came to America for a fundraise concert to support my prison reform. And after the concert, I was about to leave back to Nigeria. I was like, man, how can I show people that I came to America? So I was like, I must shoot a music video. Right. And her mom was part of the team, you know, that helped me during the concert. So I said to her, hey, please, can your daughter be the vixen in my video? You know, and she said, well, I'll talk to her, but this is her Instagram. You also go talk to her. And what I like saying is, I am still talking to her.
So you DM'd her, and here we are. So, Ling, I have to say, you did have some strong words for Mrs. Curry about, listen, DMing is not something you should be wishing for.
Yeah.
And I guess you were talking out of experience after having...
You don't want them sliding in your DMs, yeah. And I ignored him, so it's true. Don't look at the DMs, but with the exception, you're an exception.
Yep.
So I looked at his messages, and he was asking me to be a part of his video. And I just exited out of the chat, and I was like, Mom, who is this? And she's like, he's a really good guy. He does some great impacts, you know, back where he's from and around the world. And I think you should really do this. If for nothing more, it's a credit for acting and modeling, because that's what, you know, I do. And I was like, okay, fine. I'll take it as a credit. I'll do it. And so I reached back out, and I was like, okay, I'll be in your video.
So, but you know, as a profession, I mean, you were modeling since the age of 3?
Yeah,
and
very young.
so being involved in all that.
Yeah.
So here you are, you get involved with the video, and the rest is history, which we're grateful for.
Yeah.
But you mentioned he's exceptional, and you get to see that firsthand. But actually, for some of us, we hold him as exceptional because of the work he does in social reformation and social justice.
Yeah.
Some people are now familiar. There are loads of people who are not familiar with the works you've done with prisoners in Nigeria, which is not usual.
Yeah.
For those who are not familiar, tell us about how your faith was expressed in the freeing of the bound, because that's what you were doing.
Yeah. So as a musician, I wanted to be able to use my voice and my platform to speak up. Sincerely, it all started because I said, I want the youths, you know, my fellow youth, to see where they end up if they commit crime. That was where it started from. So I got into going into the prisons. I'll put up a stage, perform, invite other musicians to come with me, until I was in prison doing the usual thing I do. And one young inmate ran up to me and said, hey, I'm not a criminal, but I'm locked up here for minor offense. And that was when it became, okay, there is more to me coming to perform, you know, and that was when it became like full-blown advocacy. I started looking into like cases of people in prison with minor offenses. I feel like, hey, give them community service rather than lock them up. So I started using my platform to raise funds, and we just started paying bills, you know.
Now, these were people who couldn't pay bail,
yes,
and then they're incarcerated, and they're taken to some of the worst prisons in the country.
Well, you know, once you hear Kirikiri, you know, Kirikiri is Kirikiri. Kirikiri is one of the toughest prisons in Nigeria, you know. Nobody hears Kirikiri and smiles about it, you know. So for me at that time, I just felt like, no, this shouldn't be, you know. So, you know, I started doing all of those work, and I'm very grateful to God. I tell people it's an opportunity to serve, you know, and I'm grateful.
You say at that time, we're talking over 2 decades.
Yeah, so I started 2008, but it became full-blown in 2009, and from then till date, you know.
And you know that's something we could talk about all by itself. But you're here primarily because there's a whole world that's fallen in love with you. I know it's almost like the two of you have carved out a whole new genre when it comes to content on social media. But for you, Mrs. Lordson, it wasn't the first time. I think, to my mind, the first time you went viral was Wasabi on the Lips.
Oh, yes, yes.
Tell us about what's, because now someone's saying wasabi on the lips. What is that? Tell us about that.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So that was a makeup trend that I love digging into makeup and all the makeup trends, all the makeup things, and it was a trend for plumping your lips using wasabi. So, you know, don't use it with your sushi. Put it on your lips.
Now for goodness sakes. How on earth does a nice Christian woman like you experiment to get to the point where you're putting... It's like putting Scotch bonnet on your lips.
I know. And I regretted it the minute it happened. I was like, oh my God.
It ended up on a great TV show.
It gave me a moment, though. So yes, it was worth it, but oh my gosh, it works, but it's very painful.
So since that time, have you ever used it?
I don't use it with anything. Sushi, like he eats it, and I'm like, wait, can you sit over there with it? Like,
wow.
I'm scarred. Yeah.
You know, it's fascinating when you talk about that moment, and hopefully, if you can stay a little longer for us, we could explore it, because for you, the journey to this moment is a long one.
Yeah.
And we're familiar with some of the harshness of our realities coming from where we come from in Nigeria.
Yep.
But you're an artist. You're a celebrity in our country back then. I mean, you're a global celebrity now. You were doing good works, yet weren't getting the accolades that you're getting now.
Yeah.
But some of your rhetorics, when you look back, you would say, be patient. You would talk about having a steely resolve. What informed that made you think, actually, I guess we'll coin it as God's timing?
Yeah. Sincerely, I would say this. A lot of times, when we talk about God's timing and human timing, a lot of the reasons why we feel very pressured with life is because we're working on our human timing. And I had to learn that the hard way, you know, to allow my human timing to be in alignment with God's timing. Because everything that is happening to me now, and I say it all the time to her, is there were things I thought would happen to me years ago, but they didn't happen then. I personally thought, like, okay, I don't know if they will ever happen, you know. And when we met and we started doing all our shenanigans, I used to say, you truly cannot decide how God would choose to bless you. You know, you could try, you know. So for me, that is the foundation. I've always loved God, but sometimes I feel like God is too slow for me.
Yeah. Tell me about it. You know what? We have so much more to say, and I want to explore some of that in a little while, because what you say is true. And also, there's a little thing that we have to explore, because I look at your wife and how individual she is, free thinker, and I'm like, this reminds me of the woman that sleeps next to me, because, you know, like you did something earlier when you said her, right? And I'm just thinking, my wife, who is her? My name is, and it sounds like you get that in your house. So please stay with us. Stay with us. We have more from Ling and Lam after this.
Hey everyone, it's Simi Okai. After the show, my husband Sam and I are going to be comparing notes with couple Ling and Lam. We're going to be getting real about what it means to be married.
It really sounds just like him, but you'll do no such thing.
I said you will go to jail.
Yeah, exactly.
That is what will happen.
Literally.
Well, it's crazy, because when you talk about this comparison, we could go on. Because it's still happening.
So you don't want to miss it. So after the show, head to our YouTube page and check it out.
Ling and Lam are adding another achievement to their resume: authors. Their highly anticipated debut book, Beautiful Foolishness, will be released at the end of January. They invite readers into their lives as they share their journey, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. Be sure to visit their website for more information.
Welcome back. Before the break, social media influencers Ling and Lam were sharing their fascinating journey with us. Ling and Lam, thank you so much for staying with us.
Thank you for having us.
Now, let me come to you, Ling. So here you are, you're in a great relationship as far as what we can see externally, but culturally, you couldn't be more different. And I recognize it because you're a very strong woman, individual, free thinker, love Jesus, and but you're married to him. Now, him and I, we come from the same place.
Yeah.
Do you know who I am?
And I'm like, yeah, do you know who I am?
Exactly what my wife would say. So we laugh about it, but it's a reality that some people grapple with, not just different cultures of West and African, but even in Africa or in Australia, their relationships, people are butting heads because two strong personalities. Tell us about your journey in that and how you got to a place where the two of you seem so well gelled together.
Yeah. So I always liken us to like Lucy and Ricky. I feel like you said, it's not just, you know, Africa or America. It's everyone can experience that. And it's the
now,
same.
Lucy and Ricky are who? Your next door neighbors?
Wait, you don't know
You
who
don't know
Lucy and Ricky are?
is?
The show?
You don't know Lucy and Ricky? Ooh,
Wait,
who are
I
they?
might I can't do this anymore. You don't know.
Well, just send me to therapy and I'll sort it out. All right. So please,
So they're
please
an
continue.
iconic couple, right? Who it's the same deal. She's American, he's from Cuba. He says things, she doesn't know what he's saying. They're always like, what? Huh? Splain what? What are you talking about? So I feel like we still work through that. We're 5 years married, and every day it's still like, what did you say? What are you talking about? I think we've just gotten to a place now where it's not arguing because we don't understand each other. It's more like, how do we come together? How do we figure this out? There's a lot of humor in it, so we laugh at each other a lot. And not because we're making fun of each other, but it's because we don't get each other and we're trying to figure this out.
But how does your faith, because you and your family are quite clear about your love for Jesus. How did that inform that? Because legitimately, I mean, I know people will be like, you know what, it's my way or the highway. And here in America, baby, the woman's got power, so you're sleeping next door.
So yes, exactly. Like you said, God, Jesus, he's the foundation of our relationship. And so when things have gotten tougher than what we can handle, we always pray and we always seek God first. So I feel like that has that's the glue, right? So that keeps us together.
Don't make it sound so easy about the prayer.
Oh, no, I'm not,
because
I'm not done. You cut me off, I was like,
in that prayer, so me, I'm coming from, when I'm praying, the house is shaking.
Oh, yeah. I'm not speaking. Like,
and
I'm
she's
quiet.
silent.
I'm like, okay, I'm done. But it's two different levels of powerful. They're still both powerful. It's just different.
So I struggled with that.
You look like you're struggling.
Baby, I think I should move Mrs. Olariwaju next door to you.
I'm like, we're praying. She's like, I'm praying. I'm like, I can't hear you. I said, if you're praying, let me hear you. I can't hear.
So that's another thing that we work through right now, like accepting and knowing that he's a little louder and boisterous when he's praying, and I'm more quiet and reserved. But we're still communicating with God.
And do you ever get? But why do you have to repeat yourself? Do you ever get that? Because I get that. So, but why are you repeating yourself? God has heard you.
Oh, has your wife ever Google it? This one right here tells me to go and Google. because you said it once, twice. Okay, you don't.
Now, hold on. You just said Google it.
Yeah.
And do you ever correct him saying it's not Google, it's Google?
I don't even bother with that kind. Well, sometimes I do, but I let Google slide. Google?
Yeah, Google.
Yeah. He's saying Google, and I'm saying Google.
So you're out, and he says, "Can I have a
hamburger?"
And then you have to interpret.
Hamburger. Yes.
It's burger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's wrong with these people?
And then they turn and look at me, and they're like, "What do you want?"
So it's like, I can't be going. Can I have a hamburger?
Exactly.
It doesn't even sound right.
It's not right.
It's burger. Can I have a hamburger?
Yeah, I want a burger. but listen, so let's talk about the faith to believe to be where you are now, because on the other side of this now, I mean, movie premieres, you know, celebrities and everything, and there's a whole bunch of people looking at you thinking, I wish I was them, but they're the years of journey for you. They're the years for you too, which may not be so visible for people. Tell us, for someone who's believing God, And you know, for us, we see it easily. There's something we call Jakba, which you may be familiar with now. Everyone's trying to leave the country, whether in Africa or West Africa, East Africa. They're trying to escape hardship. But you are here and you're enjoying life, and they're looking at you thinking, "Ah, man, I wish I had the opportunity." But you went through a process. Talk to us about the faith to believe in the process that you're going through.
So I would say this, because of how we grew up with God, right? A lot of the teachings we were taught on how God works is we put everything totally on God, you know, and because of that, a lot of times we get hurt or we get disappointed because even when we were supposed to do the work, we were waiting for God. Like I always tell people, if there is a pothole on the highway, you stay there and pray for 7 days. That pothole is not going to be filled. Go and pick up a shovel and gravel and, you know, and fill up the pothole and say, Father, thank you for providing the gravel, you know. So my journey in America became that. I understood that in order for me to be successful, I must do my part and allow God to do his part. You know, and that it became my new foundation. You know, so I don't just sit down and pray 24 hours. So I pray, as I'm praying, for example, I say, Father, Lord, I need a job. I need a job. She's over there, she has a job, I don't have a job. This was my first time trying to get a job in America. The first job I got was not what I was telling God. It was a volunteer job.
Now,
with no pay.
Now, we've run out of time. We must give the last word to your queen.
Yes.
For someone who's going through hardship, whether in relationships, whether in mental health, whether financially, and they look at you, they think, oh, your life is so beautiful, I laugh, 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 laugh. What can you say to them just to encourage them to see past the darkness of their moment?
I would just say, keep going. The light that is on the other side is going to make you look back on this moment and be like, wow, I'm really glad I kept pushing. Because I've been there before where I saw all of this, but it also felt like at the moment like it would never happen. And I was like, if I don't keep going, if I don't keep putting my right foot in front of my left, I'll never know, right? And I'll just be stuck in this place, but I want to see what it's like. So just encouraging people to push through, manifest, and it will absolutely happen.
Let me tell you, the right song for this, God is not done with me.
Exactly.
God is not done with me. He's just getting started. And I'm right here for it.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, we've come to the end of the program. What a fantastic way to celebrate the start of 2025. We're looking forward to another great year with all of you. Now, don't forget to go to our Facebook or Instagram and let us know what you're praying for this year using the hashtag God2025. Before I go, I have one final thought I want to share with you. It's from the media mogul Oprah Winfrey, who said, cheers to a new year and another chance to get it right. From all of us here at TPI, along with our new friends Ling and Lam, goodbye and God bless you.